Yo, what's up guys? There has been a bit of a talk of a collaboration coming. And collaboration, do I know anything? Well, not really, but we can always speculate, right? So first things first, why do people think there is a collaboration coming? Well, last year we had two collaborations, one at the start of the year, one towards about August, which we can actually see in this website. This website does track all of the updates in the game and that kind of stuff. And we had the update for the Jujutsu Kaisen collab on the 30th of July, which is currently about like 3.5 weeks away, so that very well could be possible. Also, we're currently having a bunch of events, and I think all of these events, I think this one doesn't run that long in the first place, or does it? No, this one actually 22 days. So if we then go for, let's see, the next one, this one over here, also 22 days, so the 27th once again. If we're checking the re-up event, I think it's also going to be 22 days. What do we have over there? Let's see, top right or top left this time. 22 days once again. And let's see for the next one over here. I think all of them are pretty much just 22 days. So after 22 days, there's going to be a cycle ending for next pretty much big event kind of thing going on, which is a very good time that if we look at the data from last year to be giving the collab. So 22 days from now, that would be on the, in this case, the 27th would be a Sunday, so that would be maybe on a Monday. Most of the times, collabs do kind of start at more random times. Mostly has something to do with like the IP wanting to go the event live or at some specific kind of moment. So don't really think that we would have it exactly on the 27th, but it could maybe be a little bit earlier or a little bit later. I do kind of expect it in this week, most likely. That will also be around the time where the balance patch will happen. Definitely not going to be hyping the balance patch because I'll hype the last balance patch expecting that something big would happen based on the dev talk. That absolutely did not happen though. But I do expect something big happening around this time, because in the end, nothing really big has been happening for quite a while, right? Like, even if we check, like, what was the last unit that was released and how far is that back already? Last unit to be released were the Beetle Guardians, so let's see when Beetle Guardians were released. Wait, why is there no thing for Beetle Guardian in here? Let's see if we can find it by updates. Well, by updates, it's definitely going to be a little bit more difficult. Let's see if we can find it by events. Yeah, here we have it. Interesting that it's just not added in there, but that's already a while back as well. That is on a 4/12. That is April. So we're already 3 months without any new units. Well, let's say we're closing in on 3 months. That is actually one of the longest times where we didn't have a new unit released in quite a while, because most of the time they're pushing like a lot of new units pretty fast on that kind of stuff. I actually want to check one more thing. When was the last time we had a 2A? Because the last 2As were the Bulldozer, Frankensteins, and those kind of things. Okay, so it was updated at update 808. Let's see when that date was. That is the update over here. That's where we got a bunch of the new stuff. That's where they also added in the 2As and that kind of stuff. Yep, that's where they added in those. So what date was this? That was actually August of 2 years ago, pretty much. Wow, so we have been without any 2As for about 2 years now. Because I assume, wait, was Siren maybe coming in later? I would have to check that one. No, actually, Siren came later, so I think that was the latest one. So we're actually, in that case, October of last year. Okay, it's not that long. I was thinking, like, legit, wait, did we have to wait 2 years for that? But not that long ago. It's about like 8-9 months by now, so it's not crazy long. But it's also interesting to see how long have we been on the update 8 already. The update 8, which was like a big update, I think that was the update where we got like a bunch of, yeah, we got the intangible runes, we got the seal runes, we got all of that kind of stuff coming in. But that is already 2 years old. Are we actually gonna go the whole year without getting an update 9? Shouldn't we be looking towards an update 9? Something big happening at some point? Wouldn't necessarily say that like the update 8 was super big in comparison to the update 7. I think the update 7 was definitely a fair bit bigger. Also, if we check right now, update 7 was within a year from update 9. Let's actually go through all of those iterations. Okay, the updates, wait, not that far back. The 6 was in 2020, that's very far back. So there was a fair bit of time between the 6 and the 7. But between the 8 and now, it's pretty much as much time as we had between the 6 and the 7. I'm actually curious, what was the update on the 6? What was the big one over there? Oh, that is where we get the dimensional rifts. Yep, okay. This is where we got artifacts. The 6.0, in my opinion, was, I think, the best update that brought most hype to me. That's where there were like a lot of things added in. Artifacts were added in, bunch of new cool stuff. Not everyone liked it as much, but man, we already had artifacts for about 7 years. But actually, the interesting fact is all of those updates are around like the end of July, start of August, because this one was at the end of July. If we go for the 7.0, that was at the start of August. If we go for the 8.0, that was at the, well, start of July in that case. So it's very common to get like a big update around end of July, start of August. So that's why I'm kind of expecting something maybe a little bit bigger. Probably the most common thing that they could do is saying like, okay, hype guys, collab, new packs, new units. Yeah, it's something like that. But let me actually see what else in the 7.0. Because I felt like that one was a little bit more filler too. Oh, we had the World Guild Battle added in that case. Yep, okay. We also had the change of the Scam Stone to still be Scam Stone. No one really cared. What else did we have there? Wait, was this all for the 7.0? Wait, was this the big 7.0 just adding World Guild Battle? I guess. Wow, okay. That's that's kind of filler right there. Well, talking about fillers, currently we actually have like a whole bunch of filler stuff. We have pretty much a filler balance patch that did absolutely nothing. We have a bunch of filler events like these, which I did the math on it. The chance of you getting the Ancient Transcendent Scroll with an average of 3 million people participating and putting as many tickets in there as it's shown in this event itself is about 1 in 10,950 that you walk away with. Oh no, wait, that's just for the crystals. This one is even worse. So this one is probably 1 in like 20k or 23k, something along those lines, to actually walk away with this one. That's absolutely insane, because I did do the math on this 15%, and that was like 1 in 10,950 on average of 3 million people clearing these events on a daily base. Yeah, that's probably, you're not gonna get those. Like, you know what I've been getting? These, because this is actually a good reward. So yeah, bunch of filler things out there. So we have filler updates, filler events. Also, all of these events right now, I would say kind of filler events. Like some people get lucky over here, but all kind of a little bit filler events. So what does that mean for the collab? What is the anime with most amount of fillers? Detective Conan. Okay. Yep. That might be the collab right there. Well, I was actually expecting Naruto. Naruto is also one of those animes that's just like fillers on fillers on fillers. So I think I figured it out, boys. I think the collab is going to be Naruto. Nah, just kidding. I actually have no clue what the collab is going to be. Could be anything. Last few times they actually went for animes such as Jujutsu Kaisen and Demon Slayer. Before that, it was mostly games. For me, personal, like the collab I would like to see most is this one, which is Devil May Cry. Devil May Cry would be so dope for me personally as a collab. It's definitely a game that not everyone played, but that's the collab that I've been talking about the most. But I think the collab that would be received the best and makes people spend the most is if they do this one, Dragon Ball Super. If they add in Dragon Ball Super, like let's say you could get like a light Goku and Vegeta and that kind of stuff, people be spending. People be heavily spending. But let me know in the comments, what would be the collab for you guys that you would be most hyped about if that would be a collab? I think there's a whole bunch of options out there. I think a lot of people would love to see like One Piece, One Punch Man, those kind of things. Well, One Punch Man, I'm pretty sure would not happen because One Punch Man already did the collab with Summoners War Chronicles. And it was actually not that well received over there, as in they had some issues with the IP and just a bunch of a little bit of backlash. They had to apologize, give like a bunch of free scrolls, blah, 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 that kind of nonsense. So I don't really expect One Punch Man to be a collab potential. One Piece could be more of an option, but it is definitely a very expensive one. So I don't really expect them to go for a collab on something that is like crazy expensive. But I'm definitely curious to see, because in the end, all of the collabs kind of went all sorts of places, because first we had a bunch of games. We had the Assassin's Creed, we had The Witcher, we had Street Fighter in there. So definitely a bunch of things that are kind of all over the place. So it's very hard to predict what a collab would actually be, but there's definitely a whole bunch of very cool options. The only thing that they should not do is something like this. If they do another collab with something like this, I ain't spending shit. I can tell you that much. Like, no more fucking cookies nonsense, man. I do know that there's some people that did actually like this collab. I was not one of those people. It also created, in my opinion, the most hated unit in game, which was Manon at the prime state, where it was just doing the most insane amount of annoying shit ever happening to the game. Plus, all of this was kind of like, yeah. So yeah, once again, let me know in the comments what you would like to see as collab. And also, if you find someone else already writing down the collab you would like as well, go for an upvote on that so we can kind of get like a more or less poll kind of thing in the comment sections. So for example, if you want to see Devil May Cry or Dragon Ball Z, upvote the one that says Dragon Ball Z. And let's see if that actually wins against like a One Piece or anything like that. Pretty curious to see, so battle out in the comment section. So yeah, with the collab, we definitely will have this thing again, bunch of events going on again. I'm not really sure, like most of the collab events is just like get one of the units for free, those kind of things. They mostly don't have like super crazy events out there. So these were the events that we had last time around, at least at the start. So most of the time you get a shop, you get a mystical scroll bonus thingy, you get some for skill ups and that kind of good stuff. You get one of the free units, and that's mostly all of the events you have. And then you also have like the special dungeon that they do, which is pretty much a recycled one from the AC collab, which we've seen many times, and you just clear that in the first like hour there where it's reset, and it's especially not that crazy. But yeah, curious to see what they're gonna do this time for a collab. It's definitely, if they do collab, it's all based and catered towards like, okay, new units, cool units, hopefully. It mostly does take about like 1 or 2 balance patches for the units to actually be good, and most of the time like 95% of the units are just straight up garbage. They did add in last time around one unit, which in particular was very good right away from the start, which was the Zenitsu. I do hope that they at least have a few units if they add in a new collab where I might say is like, yo, these are cool from the get-go, because in the end, there's just so many units that are straight up bad, especially in the LD section. There's just so many units added to the pile that if you pull an LD5 right now, you actually have to not be lucky of pulling an LD5. You have to be lucky of pulling a decent LD5, because the pile of bad LD5s just keeps expanding, and there's just so many more. Like, if we look at the last few LD5s that were added to the pile, if you pull this, you're not going to beat that happen. Nezuko would be happy. Zenitsu is okay-ish, but not that crazy. Valeska is actually very good right now. Durkarp is still pretty bad. On the light from the recent added, this thing is pretty bad. That thing, pretty bad over there. We also have this one, the Nobara, pretty bad. Inosuke is pretty legit right now. I would say that the Tanjiro light might be okay-ish, but it's kind of one of the middle as well. So yeah, the last few LDs that they added, about 70% is just straight up like, I would rather not pull that. Like, if you pull one of these, you're like, straight to storage. So yeah, hopefully, especially the LDs will actually be good. Might be a little bit of power creeping, but at least if someone pulls something cool that they can actually use it, and that's like, I put another unit that they sent straight to Azkaban, never to be seen again. Well, whether something's going or not, I have been saving for a fair bit already. Even got like close to in on, I don't know how many Transcendent scrolls. Bunch of scrolls everywhere. Let's actually pop these because we still have the SP up. And the SP up does give me a chance. I actually went for the panda once again. A chance of 1 in 5,720 to get that panda back. Which is definitely not something that happens all too often. Would cost you on average about 75k to get your selected LD5. I did do the math on that. But yeah, I've been saving a fair bit for mystical scrolls and those kind of things. So if a collab does happen, at least I have a chance to pull those units. A slightly higher chance, because in the end, the SP up in this game is not really a pity system anyways, and they're probably never gonna add that pity system. Been playing a fair bit of Etheria Restart, having pity over there makes it feel like some, like, why does Comtos not do this stuff? It actually makes a lot of sense. But Comtos is like, nah, ain't gonna happen. Either how. I have been saving for a while, and I probably will save until the thing actually happens. I do miss about 5 units in here, but I care about 0 of those. So if a cool unit comes along, I can still choose that new unit probably regardless anyways, because they probably add like 5 or a little bit more units. Also, me being able to choose that unit will be pretty decent, I guess. Well, either way, guys, it's just a bit of yapping from my side on. I do expect something on the big patch coming anytime soon. Hopefully, I don't know, because why? Nothing is happening. Come to us, start doing something, create a hype, make a teaser video that all of us go, yeah, we're ready for the game, we want to play. And now everyone is like, yeah, nothing is happening. Guys, is something gonna happen? We don't know, nothing is happening. Okay. So let's hope that there's some hype coming up anytime soon with either a teaser or a trailer or both. I don't care. Even if we have to wait like for a month or something on it. Well, last time they did something of a teaser. They did a teaser on the, they have been doing, what's it called? Can I find it over here? The developer previews. The last developer preview was definitely one of those where I was like, no one cares. So let's hope with the next developer preview, it's actually going to be a little bit more interesting. And then they actually use the developer preview towards showing anything that's like, yo, this is actually cool. But yeah, this developer preview was already a month ago or near to a month ago back. Which just pretty much means there's not that much stuff going on. Like, not at all. Like, I also have no clue. Why do they still keep doing these secret dungeons 3 stars, man? When was the last time that you did a secret dungeon 3-star that came from the event? Personally, never. Well, either up, that's all from me for this video, guys. Thanks a lot for watching. See you as always in the next one. Thanks for watching. If you would like to see more guides, join the Discord and check out the content tab for the guide video archive, which contains all of the guides that you might need. Hope to see you there.